All right, let's dive in. Today, we're journeying into a kingdom that's held together entirely by secrets, a place where, every smile is a mask and every tear is basically a performance. We're about to unpack a pretty profound and honestly unsettling parable about truth, and the one guy who shows up and dares to shatter the whole illusion. This is the story of the Uncanny Jester.
So our story kicks off in this nameless kingdom, a place whose stability hinges on everything that's left unsaid. Here, grief is a public show, virtue is a role you play, and sanity itself? Yeah, that's just another performance. These are the bricks and mortar of their society, all staged so perfectly to hide the quiet rot that's spreading just underneath it all. It's a world built on a collective agreement to just not see the truth.
And right into this carefully built world walks a figure whose entire reason for being is to make the familiar absolutely impossible to ignore. A figure who doesn't just hold up a mirror to the kingdom, he kind of becomes the mirror itself. He is the Uncanny Jester.
Okay, so let's really step into this world the Jester's about to turn upside down. To get why he's so powerful, you first have to understand the fundamental rule of this place. It's a society where everyone wears a mask, and not just for other people, but for themselves, too.
The philosophy going on here is this idea called the Fichtean dialectic. It's a really powerful concept. Basically, a group, the self, figures out who it is by creating an opposite, a not-self, to define itself against. So the kingdom tells itself, we are orderly, we are sane, we are virtuous. But to believe that, it needs something to point to that is chaos, madness, and just grotesque. And the Jester? He's that not-self made real, the living, breathing shadow that lets the kingdom pretend it doesn't have one of its own.
But here's the real kicker, the big irony. The Jester, this great revealer of lies, starts out as a performer himself. He's not some divine judge sent from on high. Nope. He's a man who figured out how to use laughter as a weapon against the world's phoniness, and, more importantly, as a shield against his own. His mockery was this elaborate act designed to distract him from the quiet, empty void he felt inside. He was a master at pointing out the emptiness in others, so he'd never, ever have to look at his own. Everything, and I mean everything, changes in a dark hallway right outside the king's throne room. And this isn't just a change of scenery, it's a total transformation of his very soul. He's about to run into something mythic, a force that's going to burn away the clever fool and forge something else entirely, an absolute instrument of judgment. He stumbles upon the uncanny mirror. Now you gotta understand, this isn't a mirror made of glass and silver. It's made of other people's truths, of all the pain and greed he's ever made fun of. And when he looks into it, he has this shattering realization. He's not outside the problem, looking in. He's been inside the wound the entire time.
And in that one moment, what the story calls a dark refraction happens. The change is absolute. He shifts from being the fool, the guy who makes fun of the wound from a safe distance, to becoming the instrument. Someone who speaks with the undeniable power of being inside that wound. He's not performing truth anymore. He's carrying its crushing weight.
And let's be super clear about what this refraction thing means. A reflection, right? It just shows you what's on the surface. But refraction, that bends light, splitting it open to show you all the hidden colors inside. That's the Jester's new power. He doesn't just accuse people. His very presence is a force that breaks their performances apart, revealing the hidden spectrum of their real motives and fears.
This change is total, right down to the little sounds he makes. His Jester bells, the ones that used to jingle at the wrong time just to get a laugh or cause a disruption, well, now their sound means something else entirely. It's a final verdict. It's as definite and irreversible as a heavy door slamming shut on a choice you can never take back. Even his voice changes, taking on what's called the void register, this cold, absolute tone he uses for judgment. So, armed with this terrifying new power, the transformed Jester makes a bet with the king. For 3 straight nights, he's going to hold his uncanny mirror up to the kingdom and just peel back its layers of hypocrisy one by one. And these showdowns are called the 3 dances.
Think of this as a journey downward, a descent into the kingdom's soul. The first dance happens in a churchyard. Here, the Jester literally becomes a truth-telling monster, shape-shifting into the secret fears of the mourners to show how fake their grief is. He exposes the widow's secret relief, the heir's cold calculation of his inheritance. For the second dance, he walks into the gilded hall of the rich and powerful. There, his scepter actually awakens the conscience of the room's objects, forcing a stone angel to recite every single dishonest deal it's ever witnessed. A cold white light, The blight of revelation fills the room, making every person's true greed completely readable. But that third dance, that one is different. It's a quiet subversion. In a prison cell with the high priest, he finally puts his mirror down, and instead of exposing, he just listens. And in that third dance, the high priest gives him this absolutely critical piece of insight. They figure out that the body isn't some fallen prison that the spirit is trapped in. No, it's the spirit's main tool for experiencing the world. It's the meeting place of the human and the holy. And in this moment of shared discovery, as they find a truth that's bigger than both of them, the high priest gives the jester a new name for what he is, not a monster, but an instrument.
So, after descending through all the layers of human phoniness, the jester's journey isn't done. Now, he has to go up. He climbs to the highest spire of the cathedral for a conversation that goes way beyond the human world and straight into the cosmic. At the very peak, he finds the great star, this ancient being of what the text calls unconditional presence. It's seen everything, noble and ignoble, since before the kingdom was even a thought. And to this thing, the jester asks the biggest question of morality there is.
The star's answer is just profound. It explains that it doesn't judge, it's simply present, like light. Light falls on a worthy person and an unworthy person with the exact same indifference. The whole idea of who deserves what, that's a human thing. That's not how light works.
So, then, what is the difference between a noble and an ignoble soul? The star's answer is so simple and so deep. It has nothing to do with being inherently good or bad. It's all about direction. When faced with that cold, uncomfortable feeling of an inner truth, the noble soul turns toward it. It chooses to sit with that discomfort. The ignoble soul feels that exact same chill and turns away. It chooses the fake warmth of pulling a curtain closed.
And here is where the star reveals something really critical. Even in the soul that turns away, a part of it still knows the truth. That feeling of discomfort, that is the evidence. The story calls it an ember, a little spark of knowing that you can't completely put out. It's the proof that the light of truth is still there, just on the other side of the curtain.
This whole cosmic conversation brings the jester to his final revelation, the peak of his own understanding. The star is about to show him his true purpose in this whole grand design.
And here it is, this is what the jester truly is. He is not the source of truth, the star is. He isn't the light itself. He is the angle. He is the uncanny, the grotesque, the unexpected geometry needed for the light to finally hit the most offended, shuddered, and turned away parts of the human soul.
Think about it. A noble soul might be able to face the light head-on, but the ignoble soul, the one hiding behind its curtain, needs a different approach. The jester's mockery, his strangeness, his ugliness, these are the very things that can pick the locks on doors that direct light could never open. He is the necessary disruption that allows truth to finally get into places that have been dark for a very long time.
And here's the flicker of hope in this otherwise pretty dark story. The choice to turn away, to close that curtain, is never final. It's always reversible, because the light, the truth, that unconditional presence, it never goes away. It's always there on the other side, just waiting for the soul to decide that it's finally ready to open the curtain again.
And with that, the jester comes down from the spire, his journey complete. He's no longer a monster or a mirror. He's just an instrument, a witness. The parable ends not with a judgment on some made-up kingdom, but with a quiet, lingering question for every single one of us. The light is always there. The only real choice we have is which direction we're going to face.